meeting. United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. Consideration of the agenda, please.
We need to add something to the bottom of the agenda, please. We need to approve if we want to have the county run our elections next year, we have to approve it in this meeting. I've got it into them by the S action item. S county. Consideration of approving Fayette County to run our elections for 25-26. Bless you. Okay.
Okay.
Given that the modification, you would approve to approve the agenda. I will second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay.
Is Rob on Zoom?
Yes, he is.
Okay,
All
thank
right,
you.
good. He said
I was just trying to see his attendance. Sorry.
he said he would be on, but he wasn't sure if he's gonna be on, if he was keep his Zoom link all the way because he's traveling. So, anyway, claims, a consent agenda, claims for 424, claims for 509, minutes for 414 and 430.
I will make a motion to approve the claims and minutes.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay. We will skip that until Cal gets here to swear in the trustees. Public comment. Do we have any public comment?
Can we go back really quick? Who made the motion on the consent agenda? Thank you.
Tammy did.
And Sherry seconded. Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry, I was trying to catch up.
That's all right. Discussion. Do we need anything on discussion?
No public comment?
Committee reports, PTO.
We skipped our meeting because we had another meeting going on. I think we're gonna meet June 1st, the last Monday before school gets out, just kind of do an end of year recap. Mom's Day all went well. It wasn't as wildly attended as before, but there's a lot of activities going on in town. There's the new farmer's market at the fairgrounds too. But other than that, things are going good. Sold out a lot of PTO stuff, Friday store stuff last Friday.
Nice.
Like, we're gonna be out, have to order before school starts again,
Nice.
so.
Good. Clean it up.
Yeah.
Clean it up. Okay. And who is our teacher rep?
Is she on?
Seeing none.
Everything is going well. It's a little crazy. We're in full testing right now. So we did the maps right now.
It says she joined our meeting.
Not on the meeting.
She in the waiting room or?
Maps are this week and then back to maps, and I'm doing dibbles right now. We're doing K2, K3 for dibbling. Where you check the reading, and then the K8 for maps next week is the math summit.
Last mass.
The last math.
What is that?
Graduation is coming up soon.
So MAPS is this week, which is the Montana growth measure, or not Montana, excuse me, just the growth measure. And then the MASS is a Montana assessment. It's been a lot of testing.
Fourth grade went fishing today on their field trip.
Oh,
Last week, the fifth grade went to the Forestry Expo and had a great time. And I do believe it's first and fifth are going on a field trip together,
To an art studio.
an art studio this week.
Or next week, next.
Next week. So eighth grade has a lot to do, I believe. And we're winding down. I think we have 15 days of Who's left?
Well, I for one am very impressed how well Avery, first grade, is reading. She's just like, just reads. Wow, you're doing really good. You know, that's a good thing to see.
Yes,
Glad to see that.
I've seen a lot of growth this year and it's only gonna get better.
Yep, yep. Okay, so Cal is here, so we're going to stop there and Cal can swear in our trustees.
All right. Well,
Is on Zoom.
He's on Zoom.
I'll just leave it here then.
Okay.
Tammy. And Christian.
He is standing.
Okay, I'll get you a light sheet here. It's actually on there too. It's a little bit bigger on this, but I don't know if you want to hold it up for Bob. Is he on the video?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here on the video.
Can you see that?
Closer. Keep going about. Get like,
Let me maximize it here.
you can see it? Might be backwards.
Let's see if we can do it in sync.
Is that good or is that bad?
Is it backwards?
In sync, anyway.
I'm gonna count down 3 and on 1 start. How's that sound? 3,
I got it.
1.
I, Cammy Johnson, do solemnly
I, Rob Frist, do solemnly swear
That's okay. Keep going. It's all right.
that I will support
that I will
and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Montana,
Montana,
and that I
and
will
that I will
discharge
discharge my duties of my office with fidelity.
so
So
help
help
me
me
God.
God.
That was
You guys
pretty
did
good.
great. I'll take that back. You guys have to sign it, and then you've got to sign them all, and Lily gets to sign them all.
Yep.
Congratulations, wherever you are.
Thank you, Cal.
Yeah. You guys, you can have him sign it when he comes in. Send me a copy. I'm sure I need copies. Yeah, please.
There's a third one there. Yes.
One for me, one for you, one for you.
Last name is spelled. Okay, get that there.
Yes, I need to.
Chad has one. Everybody's got.
Got out here a little faster than I thought.
Not too shabby.
Yeah.
Here's this one for you.
Start at 6.
Yeah.
There you are. Shannon, we signed this.
You just need one copy.
Yep, just one. Yep.
One's for me, one's for you. Christian?
Awesome. Thank you.
I'll bring you closer.
Perfect. Or you just send it to me, however you want to do it. So it's good. So good seeing you guys. Have fun and thanks for letting me interfere when you.
Yes. Thanks, Cal.
Thank you, Cal.
Thank you for
Yeah.
coming out.
Okay.
Clerk report. Is that Yeah, okay, well, then this is Christian's, one for me, one for me. Here's this week, that's around. Here's this week, same report, budget versus actual attached, we're at 75% of our budget. The interlocal is attached also, Shannon, put. Debbie's classroom.
I'll take them.
Okay. Yes.
They look like bridal shower.
Okay, interlocal, they put that check with double paid back in, so we're at something. I can't remember that number.
Wait, interlocal, sorry, what line are you looking at? I've got it open.
In the clerk report versus interlocal,
Yeah,
I'm not doing that right now. So the interlocal has 17,945 back in it. Other than that, it's just, May in the business office, which means it's busy. She already signed it.
Okay.
Yeah. End of the year stuff's upon us, along with budgeting for the next school year. Lots of spreadsheets are being created, changed, and looked at for different scenarios. So that's all I've been doing is spreadsheets for the last, I don't even know what I did before spreadsheets.
And
Yeah, more spreadsheets. Yeah.
and fielding the random questions or negotiations people have been asking you to calculate for them as well. So thank you for that.
Is that it?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, and Julia's gone.
Negotiation.
Do you want to show somebody something? So we do,
She's just coming.
is she just come? Okay.
Are you skipping negotiation committee?
Anything else you guys have anything to report from today?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I will just report that we've met twice. We're planning to meet again tomorrow, so it'll be our third meeting within a week, basically. Trying to kind of fast track some discussions. Of course, the STARS Act is a big point of our discussion. And based on where we are and some things being in flux and up in the air at this point, that may impact what we're able to vote on or not, in our opinion tonight. Anything to do with money may be an issue to try to know right now if we can support certain things. So, but I think overall, like I feel like both parties have done a good job of like coming with ideas and wanting to do what's in the best interest of the school and the staff and trying to really work together. So I feel like that part's gone really well and good discussions, in my opinion. So
That's against them.
Right.
Yeah.
Trying to figure it out.
The education system.
Hey, Shannon,
yes.
Yes.
are you taking notes on the agenda?
No, I made a copy of the agenda and that's where I take notes and then I change it to say minutes.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Because I'm sharing a copy of your agenda and watching you type. Just give me 1 second.
Good catch, Rob.
Thank you,
Anything else you want to
Rob.
add? No.
No problem.
Yeah.
Not yet. To be continued, I should say. Yes, determined.
Fun times.
Are you missing it?
Okay. Julia, your report?
Okay. For expanding learning opportunities, we're currently in the planning stages for next year. 2 calendars, Mondays and Fridays off were voted on. The link was sent out on Wednesday, the 7th, and the staff had until Friday to close that vote of last week. Results will be reported at the bottom. This year, or this coming year, we will have a K1 and a 1-2 split classroom. Basically, the kindergarten, second grade teacher splitting that first grade classroom for next year, which works out really well because we have a pretty clear divide on kids that maybe need some more lower support and kids that need some higher support, in a 5-6 split. To keep in line with accreditation, Sharadi and I will step in to help teach a class here or there. It'll be down to scheduling to make this work. Thank you to all those who put their efforts into making it work. We hope the cost savings from providing these positions will allow us to save money for future needs. The 4th grade went on their fishing trip today, Monday the 12th, and I'm happy to report my daughter caught the largest fish. Just saying, she caught the largest fish. 6th grade students will head off to their camp next week. In the past, it's a science-based camp, but this year it's going to focus on literary works. So stories about knights, round tables, jousting, and fencing. On May 20th, the 7th grade girls will go to a STEM conference they go to every year, while the boys will go on their career exploration trip. I'm not sure where they're going this year. Last time I heard they were debating it with 2, and I'm not sure where it landed. For enhanced supports unit for student and staff, last month I attended the first Flathead partnership meeting where partner schools met with the administration of Flathead High School to discuss ways to improve our working relationship. They're going to do them quarterly so that we can get together and start finding ways to help bridge and create a really strong relationship with each other moving forward for our kids. Last week was Teacher Appreciation Week. The staff had massages and yummy snacks. For improving existing facilities to support students, staff, and community, I completed a walkthrough of the interior and exterior of the building, noting areas that need repair. I added over 50 line items to the maintenance request sheet. Most items were refinishing, painting, or repairing small things around the school. Students completed the third MAPS testing cycle this month and are now on to completing the last session of MAPS testing. For the 4-day school week voting results, I attached them there at the bottom. The community vote results were 65.3% for Friday, 34.7% for Monday. The staff vote was 68.2% for Monday and 31.8% for Friday. Mhm.
Can you go up a little bit? May 23rd will be the final day for 8th graders.
Yes,
So do they they don't graduate that day, they graduate the 29th?
yes. So they always get off about a week before.
Gotcha.
Then they come in and help decorate about half day to do some activities the day before, and then they graduate that evening.
Thank you.
Being that how it was done before. Interesting. Okay.
Okay, all done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Oh, nope, that's notes.
this Sharadi?
Okay, so I was with mass testing. I took small groups of students so they can work at their own pace and with fewer distractions. 7, on the parent meeting to help support one of our students. Attended bunny bingo and didn't win. They win. Covered 2 IPs while Julia was out sick. And then our reading series for K-5 expires this year. And we needed to decide if we wanted to stay the same or change. And met with the K2 staff about implementing a new reading program next year. We set up Zoom meetings so they could compare the curriculum with our current curriculum and a few others. The K2 teachers fell in love with Super Kids. It's based on the science of reading and features stories about real kids and is much more student friendly. Brenda said she could see the students soaring with this program. The 3rd and 4th grades would like to stay with the current program, which also has the science of reading, so it's fine. And we were able to go ahead and just order what they needed and get them online access. So we were able to save a lot of money with that. They had made a mistake and had told us that our math curriculum was also expired, but it was the wrong school district that they sent out. So we actually have our math until 2028. So
Seems like we just got it. Mhm.
So we ordered the math and that was already prepaid. So we purchased all the series for K-5. Science for K-5 also expired this year. And no one really liked the science. It was a challenge for both teachers and students to understand. I got a quote from Mystery Science, which a lot of schools in the Valley use. I know when Sherry did the.
Yeah, it's good. I like it.
They really
Mhm.
like it. And so we're a small school, so we're able to get it for $999 for the whole school to use, and Mystery Science or videos that engage students in their experiments that go with them. And I also found some companion practice sheets, test prep, and tests on teachers pay teachers for each grade level to go with the program to kind of even more supplement it. And those are basically like $30.
So-
And it'll come out of their science budget.
Quick follow-up question. Does that include the, like, the not manipulative materials for the experiments? Okay.
No.
No.
Just the.
Just the videos and the lessons.
You have
Okay.
to go through. If I know they would have.
I mean, they use pretty common
Yeah.
items, but
A lot of it are printable, I think.
Yeah.
Set up a technology safety forum on the 22nd from 6 to 7 with Robert Leonard. He is currently the director of technology at Stillwater Christian School and reached out to us to offer his services. And please join us, because as of last week, I checked with him and so I'll show up with them. And if no one comes, then we'll just shut it down. Hopefully some people will come. And then set in on IEFA and calendar meetings and help celebrate our amazing staff this last week.
Okay, thank you.
thank you for all you do.
Okay, action items, reorganization of the board. This is where we get to nominate and vote for who you want to do what on the board. So, anybody want to nominate somebody for a position?
I nominate keeping it the same.
I second that.
Tammy moves to,
Do we have to do each one separately? Right, board chair, because it's 3 items under there.
yeah,
I make a motion to reorganize the board. How's that?
Oh, okay.
No?
you're organized to what? You have to nominate a board chair, a vice chair.
Oh, so
Yeah.
I make a motion to reorganize the board and keep it exactly how it was last year. If anybody else has something alternate, please let me know.
Stay the same,
Yeah.
24, 25.
I move to nail their feet to the floor so they can never think of it.
So that is Lily as chair, Sherry. oh. Sherry as co-chair and
So it's worded as vice chair in the agenda. I don't know if that makes a difference,
yeah,
but
thank you.
yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right, so there's been a motion. Wait a second.
You need a second.
Oh,
I'll second it.
Thank you, Rob. All those in favor?
I
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Thank you for your trust in us. Okay. We are at consideration for approving vice principal raise request.
What can we talk about before we make a motion?
Yeah.
Yes,
Get back to that.
we've decided we can do that now, yeah?
yes, yes, we decided that it, to me, it was always backwards to do the other way. But anyway,
So my opinion on not just this, Becky, but on anything in the agenda that requires an action item tonight that has to do with money. Because I'm also on the negotiation committee. And there's 2:00, 2:30. I don't know that we can move on anything money related tonight. So I don't want to shoot
It's
it.
not a no, it's not a yes.
It's not, it's a, we can't make any decisions right now type of thing.
so would we like to table this
Yeah.
until next month?
God, I hope it's done by.
Right?
You is the June one. Because the June 1st, you have to have a contract.
Well, yes,
But you're not, she can still have a contract, but we
Okay.
can renegotiate, I mean.
Right.
we can get
Salary.
Salary out of it, maybe.
You can do the same contract with the promise if we don't make that deadline to do a new one after that.
yeah.
date, right?
And if we're not done with the negotiations by June 1st, which is
Sure.
likely, I mean, or it's possible, we're hoping, we would just do letters of intent, right?
Well, we've already
By
done the
June
letters.
1st. Oh, have you? Okay, so, but you were saying it's June, so do we not have a choice? We have to be done with negotiations by June 1st? Because
So I think you guys have to have contracts by June 1st.
We used to get contracts on.
I know, that's what I'm
Like,
remembering.
right before school
It's late in
started.
the summer.
It just leaves you guys open whether or not anyway.
I believe it says you're supposed to, but I've seen districts write a letter saying we intend to give you a contract. This is the date, why we're not.
So I could do another letter of intent.
Explaining why it's delayed.
So, okay, and I know we're tabling this, but can you remind me what the current amount is for that?
Her amount that she gives us 5,000.
Thank you.
Last year we did 1,000 for the class. We didn't take it.
Right,
Because
okay.
you took the class.
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
didn't take the class, so. It was just, if you don't have a class this year, just to. It'd be the same. Comes down to about $33.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I can put table until the.
So this is
Yeah.
this is until
Negotiation.
negotiations.
Mhm.
Okay, then moving on to C, consideration of removing of a staff member's personal record. Policy 3235, paragraph 3. And I read that and I was okay with removing it.
Yeah. So the sentence says the district may use to make video recordings a part of a student's educational record or of a staff member's personal record. So we just want to remove that. Yeah. Because this video surveillance policy is about children.
About children.
It's just- Yeah.
So I'll make a motion to remove or of a staff member's personal record from policy 3235, paragraph 3.
I'll second it.
Is there any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay. Consideration of approving purchase of volleyball standards, and that was the
Took me a second.
Yeah.
Rewind.
So Paula has done a great job of fundraising. And then we do have money left over out of athletics this year. And we're short $454, which we can take out of a fund 115 out of our rebate type account. Where the rebates come into.
So that would come out of this current year's budget, so we could vote on that because it's not gonna
Yep,
impact.
it's coming out of this year's budget, so that's why we need to get it approved today, so we can get it ordered and use this year's budget.
So that's the poles, I was told. I didn't know what that was.
It's the poles and the net and all of the safety padding for that. The
Oh,
only
gotcha.
thing that's not included is the ref stand. That was another $1,500, $1,200. The whole set, I think was like over $6,000, but this way we're.
Altogether, it's 14.
Okay.
And it's all personalized, so. They near campus.
That's longer than
Whatever, and that's not. Yeah.
Okay.
It's possible. So
And if needed, it's broken.
it's more of a thieves safety.
Yeah.
I remember like pads falling off.
No,
Like, I don't
where
think
the
we can-
strap where you tighten it on the bottom, it was held together with like a nylon woven strap about this big. And it was with a bolt and then a washer. There wasn't any like protective ring that went around that nylon strap. So when it did rip, it snaps off. So Tess was able to do a couple of things and fix it. But I mean, if anyone bigger than a 7th grader jumps into the net, it could snap off and hurt someone. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see us having volleyball next year because it's that much.
Yeah.
Wow.
If we don't work.
And Tess tried everything, but it's just.
I am on Zoom if you guys need me to explain what's wrong with the polls, the standards, the net.
I don't think so.
No,
We
it's
all-
okay.
We all got a good picture.
Yeah, thank you.
We're good, thank you.
Thank you for MacGyvering it and making it work.
Yeah.
It's not safe. I've been hit in the face with
Yeah,
not our system, with another broken system, so I just don't want it to happen.
nope. Thank you. So I will move to approve the purchase of volleyball standards
I will second that.
as quoted.
Is there any more discussion? All those in favor?
Okay.
Aye.
Sorry.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Consideration of approving EDGM math, what's it called?
Ed Gems.
EdGem, math curriculum for middle school.
We're really excited about this one. The current curriculum we have was actually created 2 years after I graduated high school. And so it's past its prime. It's not aligned as well as it should be anymore. And we've been purchasing our student books when they, have seen their last days. We get new books from eBay, and we're at the point where eBay now no longer has any copies. We bought them all. So the middle school teachers worked really hard to find one that they liked, which was very difficult because we all agreed we wanted a textbook. not necessarily something where all the learning materials were online. Because we wanted our kids to be able to take something home, work with their parents if they wanted to. Some kids don't learn as well from only online. We wanted kind of a both situation. And we ended up finding EdGems, which actually was one of 2 out of about 20 we looked at that actually had physical books now. Now they're all online.
They're all
they-
tech books.
They're all tech books with student workbooks, which we've noticed our technology just cannot handle. Our current technology for science uses all of the battery life by the end of the class, and it's really hard for these teachers to stay on it. So we're really excited. It's simple to use, and the best part is it came in about $9,000 lower than we budgeted for 6 years. Kyla currently uses it and really likes it, so we're pretty excited about it.
Okay. So is that, again, since we're trying not to spend money that impacts next year's budget, is that already, you said already budgeted for? Okay, just making sure.
Yes,
As
no,
we
good
go.
for it.
We told Becky we couldn't talk about money, and now we're talking about money, we're proving things.
Everything we're.
I want to make sure it's, okay, I want to make sure it's, yeah, we're okay.
Okay, I will make that motion. Just,
I'll second that.
is there any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay. Consideration of approving mystery science supplementation for elementary science.
And that's what Becky was already just talking about.
It's coming out of next year,
Oh.
or we are waiting till the end to see what clears out. So we just need to,
And how much was that one?
999.
And that's site licenses for
The whole school.
the whole school for 1 year. That'd be a per year kind of, okay. So, sorry, go ahead.
I would say that if this is coming out of next year, then do we want to wait?
And we, since we saved money on the math, use that, what
Yes,
savings we
Because
made.
it's
Oh,
just budgeted
because you
for
have curriculum.
curriculum.
And then my other question would be, because you mentioned our tech can't handle the current demand of tech books, but now we're getting mystery science. K-8, is that going to be a further
the-
draw on our tech? You know,
Our Amplify is the
Mhm.
one that draws, and it's only 6.8, so they wouldn't be using both.
oh,
So this would be younger, and then Amplify is older.
The mystery science is showing with the smart board.
Mhm.
right,
Yeah,
It's not on.
right.
Their amplify is on everybody's.
Yeah.
And
so this works just because it's different, the little.
Gotcha.
computers.
Okay. I thought we were adding another component, like, no, that's, yeah. And is it and I'm just curious, I mean, side note, is it the computers for handling it, or is it our Wi-Fi that's
The computer.
our
or battery life.
internet? Or battery life?
And we don't have the infrastructure to be able to have them plug it in. We have lots of different types of computers that are
Mhm.
different generations, and they may
Yes.
be the same computer, but 2-3 years later, the
Yeah.
chargers are different.
Yeah, I know how that all works.
And
Yeah.
there's not enough outlets like in the floor for the kids to plug them in, so they
Okay,
have.
so it's
to
hardware
plug
and
them.
infrastructure. Got
Yeah,
it.
that we
Okay,
just can't replace.
thank you.
Just as an aside. Do the, how long do you usually take the chart mill full?
I do not know.
Is would it be possible to rotate students each position at each table? With the- Have one charging in the morning, have another charging in the afternoon.
So it were just a 1-to-1, so they all need to be on Amplify at the same time throughout class. And we don't have any other like extra computers to where we can cycle them out.
But they're not all in science class at the same time, are they?
No, but they do plug them in, but by the end of science class, they'll be full. And by around the end of science class, they have maybe like a quarter life left, and then they go to computers, and then it's
Gotcha.
done at computers. So it's just, I think because we have 2 banks of classes next to each
Mhm.
other that require computer use. And a lot of our other
Gotcha.
things like typing and
No.
math all have computer components. So
Good idea.
we definitely need them to invent some better computers.
Better battery life.
Yes.
Yeah.
If we could make a battery that goes off of student talking, I think we'd be set.
Okay,
In
Let's
case you
work
wanna
on that.
Come up with something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Make them pedal something.
Yes.
Generate. Flintstones.
I love it.
All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the mystery science supplementation. Leftover money, Jim's.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? All of those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay. Consideration of forming the Marion School Athletic Booster Club.
We heard about this last time, I believe, right?
So I was working with Ross, our auditor, and our board policy to try to figure out a way to make this work. And he had lots of comments. But we took basically the board policy and took the blurbs out that we needed to have in the bylaws in order to make it work and be in compliance with the Title IX blurb and all the other stuff in the board policy. So I just sent it to Paula, and you can chime in now what your.
Yeah, I really don't like it. There's some things in there I don't like. And the school district, first you have to form the actual booster club. You have to have your president, vice president, and they're the ones that create the bylaws, not the school. So that's kind of an issue from my point of view. So I kind of wanted to do a little more research and figure out exactly, because the Title IX thing gets confusing to me. Because Title IX is about equity, not dollar for dollar. Otherwise, I would have to turn around and spend $5,000 on boys basketball to now equal out what we just spent on volleyball. And it's not that. It's that, do they have the same opportunities, the same access, the same equity? It's not dollar for dollar. So that's kind of confusing to me from what Shannon was telling me. So I kind of wanted to do a little more research on it and maybe have a chance to talk
What
to
time is it?
your
What time is it?
auditor.
Let's hear it for BT.
Because it's kind of convoluted in the policy.
He was basically saying also if you function under your own tax ID, it wouldn't be as strict as a functioning under the school's tax ID.
Yeah. So if I want to do my own 501c3 to create the booster club,
That would be totally different.
yes, which is what I originally wanted to do. But I was told I had to go by the board policy. So I just need to know which one I'm actually doing.
Good question. I can ask him if you are gonna, because the reason we talked about not functioning under your own 501(c)(3) is because then you have to pay for an audit.
Yeah, you would have to pay to have your taxes done.
That's why the PTO went underneath the school, was because the audit was gonna be way too much money. We wouldn't make anything.
The only problem I have with the way the policy is set up is that I go and say, get a sponsor to say, buy new bleachers. That's a big outlay. So that money goes into the account. Now, you're saying it can't go to a specific expenditure,
That's
that
what
it
the
could go
policy
into the
says.
fund and it could be spent on other things.
Board decides where it's spent, right?
That's what the
Correct.
policy states.
Right.
So you
And
would just come to the board and say,
They spend it on this.
correct, but I've been doing this a long time. Board members change, politics change, policies change. Therefore, it doesn't always come to fruition of where that money was actually supposed to go. So if it's just gonna go into the general fund, and the board can say, well, you know, bleachers would have been nice, but we need to pay something else. We need a new roof or whatever. That's the only issue I have with it, only because I've had this experience in the past.
But wouldn't that, because it's that type of a fund, we couldn't just spend on anything, right? It would have to go towards something related to that particular athletic boosters. So
Doesn't say that specifically in your policy.
It doesn't. Just says that the board, pulling it up here. The club must have prior approval to use a logo. The club must comply with board policies and administrative procedures with submitting donations. It can violate the bylaw.
Club acknowledges that donations cannot be earmarked for any particular expense. Individual boosters or donors may make recommendations, but cash and other valuable consideration must be given to the district to use at its discretion in accordance with applicable laws. The board's legal obligation to comply with Title IX by providing equal athletic opportunity for members of both genders will supersede any individual's recommendation.
So are you asking us to wait on this one then, since you want to do some more research?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we should table that one for now.
And I see where you're coming from. Somebody
Yeah.
wants to donate money to bleachers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody should
And you want it
include
to go to
bleachers.
bleachers.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, we had that issue before where a person donated $20,000 towards a weight room. And it turned out that that money didn't go to the weight room. So,
I can see that, yeah.
yeah,
I get, yeah. I would not.
the donor wasn't.
Well, I wondered too if you could get pre-approval.
Yeah. That's what I was.
I would, sorry guys, my internet is terrible. I'm gonna try to switch to my phone, but I mean, if you're gonna do $20,000 for bleachers, get pre-approval from the board. Like, hey, would you guys be up for this? You know, I've got this donor that wants to do this. Before they donate the money. That's one way around that.
Yeah.
And that approval would happen at a board meeting and it would be documented.
So then
And
they
that's
put
in
it,
the board policy.
why they put that line in there, you know, like if
Right.
Johnny's a billionaire and loves football and he's gonna donate 6 billion to the football program and then volleyball is running around in tatters.
Right.
That's where they protect it, but
Mhm.
I agree, you don't wanna alienate potential people by mismanagement of what they thought their money was going.
Yeah.
Mhm. Especially if it's something that would benefit everybody. all
Yes.
sports.
Yeah, I highly doubt that we would turn down donations, but I mean,
No, it's not bringing
We-
us money. I hope somebody would donate that much.
So if any of you on here have $100,
Yeah. Even 5, but.
Okay, so we'll table that until we know we have all of our ducks in a row on that.
Mhm.
Okay, consideration of approving the Evergreen Crossroads Agreement for 25-26. This is something that we do every year. Yep.
So this
sorry.
is just for Christian, this is a school in Evergreen that assists with students that have needs that are greater. Most of the time behaviorally, not always, that maybe our school is not equipped to handle. And so they step in and we make an agreement between them where our students can attend their school to receive assistance in areas that we aren't able to give. And then we wait until we get our lovely friends back, once they've reached their goals, and we get to welcome them back to Marion. So
We use our tuition fund to fund the dues essentially for that program.
And what this does is that just says that it saves us a spot.
Mhm.
Pretty much is what it is.
Rather than trying to hire people to staff for that student in-house, we can put them to a program that's already set up for us. But it's been very successful. So I would move to approve the Crossroads Agreement for 25-26.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I
Anyone opposed? Okay. Okay, consideration of approving the Star Preschool. Now, is that something like the Crossroads where it just gives us the spot?
essentially, so this is run by the Flathead Special Education Cooperative, who provides our speech, PT, OT, and psych. to us. So this is for students that are below grade kindergarten that need a little extra assistance or help in their under 4 years and under category. So students with disabilities or high needs that need kind of some more support before they're ready to enter into the school district. And this just allows us to hold a spot in their hold a spot is kind of a term. If they don't have any spots available, we can't use it, but it's just saying we can, if there's a spot available, we have the right to see if it's a good fit for our student if there's one available. Sometimes there's not, but we always want to pay it in so that we can help our Marion kids if we need to.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll make a motion for the Star Preschool.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
After we have a second, we can't right now, right?
Yeah, just a second. Yeah.
Wait, just 1 second. I'll second that motion. And then any further discussion? So now would be a good time to
There
ask.
we go. All right, now you can ask a question.
Hold on, she's muted.
So I was just curious, do we ever have any kids use the STAR program, the preschool one that you were talking about?
Yes, ma'am, almost every year.
Okay, that's good. I was just curious because I'd never heard of it. So is that something that you would have to contact the special ed co-op to get in touch with?
Yes, and they have to do something similar to an IEP and a lot of testing. They take the severe kiddos. But yeah, that's kind of run. I'm not sure what company does it. When I was in Great Falls, when they had one, it was Embark, but I'm not sure what it's called out here. So it's a different.
Okay, I was just curious if we had kids that actually went.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, thank you.
So we still need to vote. If there's any other
Okay.
discussion. or-
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay. Next one is consideration of approving the special ed preschool.
Oh, you just did that one.
So
We did Star.
There's a whole
Oh,
other
We
one.
did star.
Okay.
Yeah.
Star is more like for language.
Yes, I got them
Sorry.
backwards. I apologize. So STAR is similar, but STAR is a program that goes through elementary school. I can't remember what their highest grade is. That is the one that
It's
is
like
about-
early, yeah, you're right, like pre-K through 3-ish
Yeah,
or
that
something.
does kids with communication issues, severe communication issues. Thank you. And the SPED preschool is the ones that are under kindergarten. Sorry, I got
Ages
mixed up
3
on which item we're on, but they are provided through the same Flathead Valley Cooperative.
We have this every
What were you
year.
saying, Kemi? It's age 3 through 5?
So I'm looking on the SPED one and it says.
Oh, SPED one, okay.
Yeah.
Support.
Yeah. The child must first be between the ages of 3 and 5 years old.
Before September.
But STAR is more like it goes into the primary grades.
Yes,
too.
sorry, guys, I got them backwards.
It's okay.
I think Star said up to like 14 or something. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put elementary, okay. Got it.
I'll make the motion.
I will
Oh,
second.
go ahead.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, consideration of accepting C. Sampley's resignation. Anybody have any questions about this? Okay,
I will make a motion to approve C. Sampley's resignation.
I'll second it.
any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay. Consideration of charging pay-to-play fee of $20 per sport.
All right, so attached, a pay to play is an idea that's been kicked around amongst some of the staff and coaches for, in conversation for the last couple of years. Every time I played a sport growing up, you had to pay something. Sometimes it was $90, sometimes it was $190, sometimes it was $20. This really came about because our costs to replace the materials that our students are using are just continuing to go up. And so it's kind of a sunk cost every year. So for example, I believe I ordered, 5 basketballs, and that's almost, $360 now. And if we go through 2 a season, we're just constantly, we're not able to build up our athletic program. So I would like to propose that we have a pay to play where families will be asked to pay $20 per sport that their child participates in order to help go toward the athletics, to help with the damage on the gym floor. If there's a volleyball standard that falls apart again, basketballs, and kind of build up that money. And attached are also schools that do a pay-to-play system that are close by. So we have Smith Valley, Cayuse Prairie, and Big Fork. Smith Valley does $35 for cross country, 25 for basketball, and 35. I think it's backwards. Is that backwards? Okay, volleyball 35, cross country 25, basketball 35, and we raise that due to rising costs of referee fees. Cayuse Prairie has $90 for the entire year, and Big Fork does $20 for each season. I'm proposing $20 for each season so that if a student plays 1 sport, they're not paying for 3 sports. I would also like to, in that, put in a program where it's, if you can pay, thank you so much. That's really awesome. This is what it's for. But also if the student can't pay, offering opportunities for, if anyone wants to provide a scholarship, or asking if PTO or another fundraiser can happen to fill that bank to allow kids to play also. We're just getting to the point where we're running out of some equipment and we're not able to replenish it as fast as we need to for these kids.
So if they paid $20, but they played like 2 or 3 sports, they would pay $20 each time.
Mhm. Yeah, which
And so
is fairly low. As I paid 207 for my son to play in baseball, 107 for t-ball, and 109 for softball. So it's fairly, if you're going to take your kid to play a sport, $20 is pretty.
Can I ask, does the West Valley football program charge for our boards?
To be honest, I don't know. I never thought of asking.
So the cost, yep, Julie's right, the cost of everything is going up, but you gotta consider there's transportation, the facilities, the utilities, uniforms, equipment, transportation, etc. So all of that is going up. And so to make improvements is really hard when we are just still playing catch up costs. So $20, I think, is pretty fair for where we are, socioeconomically. And I think with the hardship, like we called it the hardship. The Booster Club had a hardship thing. They could apply to Booster Club 2 to cover it. So you could have something similar to that as a hardship application, where we either offered the parent or the child to volunteer in some capacity to work off that fee.
Another thing that I really love that baseball does is, if this is too much, or future fee, you do increase it, or if this is too much, baseball does a really neat thing where they give you tickets, like raffle tickets. And if you sell your raffle tickets, you get to keep that money to pay yourself back for the money that you spent on registration fees. Or you can put your name on the raffle tickets because you technically paid for them and put them in to win a raffle. So you feel like you're getting more than just, so that's always nice to kind of make it feel
right,
like a less of a tax.
The only reason I mentioned football is I feel like we probably couldn't expect parents to pay us a $20 pay to play if they're going to.
Wouldn't ask that for sure. It would just be our 3 Marion, or 4 Marion sports, I guess.
Did they cover everything, including like uniforms or something?
No, it would just be a start. It would help balance something, and maybe we eventually be able to buy something a higher quality, replace something faster. But I mean, we wouldn't want to charge these kids what it'd take to even out the program. It just wouldn't be fair on them.
We don't have a motion yet, correct?
No, we don't have a.
Okay, I will move to charge a pay-to-play fee of $20 per sport.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay. Consideration of approving Super Kids reading program for K through 2 paid for by title funds.
That came out of this year's.
So do we typically? We don't typically approve title funds, correct?
No,
Okay, is it just
but
because
you
it's
have-
more than
It's
10,000?
because you have to approve curriculum.
yes.
So you're approving the curriculum,
Okay.
not the purchase.
Not the purchase, thank you.
Yeah, program.
Thank you for that distinction, I'm like. Super kids. So it seems like we just purchased a new reading curriculum, not that long ago.
It was a new, but it was only a 3-year thing. It was brand new, either the year before or the year that I came, and it was a short,
Uh-huh.
it's already over. And it was 20,000 for everyone to get re-upped. And we didn't have.
We initially purchased it with ESSER money.
Okay, and that was textbooks too, though? Or just all
student
online?
workbooks and
Yeah.
online,
It was consumables and, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. Which is unfortunately
Yeah.
the way it's going. and
I know,
it's So
I
hard
know.
on schools.
I like hybrid myself when it's a lower fee for the online stuff. Okay, so this would be, I know we already talked about this, Becky, but my brain is not remember, so let's see.
K2.
Yes,
It's not the science of reading.
right,
They already have it. We have, they're actually gonna come in person to do a training.
okay, good, that's one of the things.
Yeah,
we
in
got.
person on the, not the Monday right after we get out of school, but the Monday after that, 17th. That right, 17th, right around there. And I'm gonna come and train Michelle and Brenda. We're sending the training material.
Mhm.
It is, the only thing missing is a few like read aloud books. And they said they could find them, or we can find them on like YouTube or something, watch it, but.
But this eventually would become like we'd have to keep paying the online fee, correct?
Yeah.
Which is, looks like it's waived this year because we're getting all the supplies.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll go down to $50 per kid.
Okay, thank you.
Everything there, we just pay $50 per kid. For K2. The K2 program, so it focuses more on actually getting them to read it.
Mm-hmm. Phonemic awareness, I saw that. Okay.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Wait a minute, though, is this for next year's budget?
This year.
This year's budget, this year's
Okay,
title.
I know it's title, but okay, this year, okay, thank you. It's reasonable, I will second that.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Consideration of approving the STARS memorandum.
Last to be tabled.
Or we can just have don't approve it.
We're still part of our negotiations.
We'll tell you, and they want to put some language in there,
Yeah.
with some numbers of how it will be used, how those dollars would be used.
Have time left yet before
We're meeting tomorrow.
Has to be submitted by the 15th,
For meeting tomorrow, we may have to do a special meeting
right after.
Wednesday?
Yeah, 13th, 14th,
And we may have to do a special board meeting on Wednesday.
because the board has to sign
Yeah, I know. That's why I was looking at the date.
it. Yeah.
Can the board approve it
Pending.
pending
Conditional.
Yes,
negotiations?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I would think we could because of the time sensitivity of it.
But if one of the board members disagrees with the outcome,
Right.
True.
if they're like,
What'd you say, Julia?
What if one of the board members disagrees with the outcome of negotiations?
Well, there's 5 of us, so My four would agree.
That's right.
Touche, touche.
Right?
Either that or, and we can,
Well, and
What if,
special meeting on Wednesday, can even be Zoom.
he doesn't do that negotiation.
could we go ahead and plan a special meeting Wednesday evening, Zoom only, just for the one item? I don't know.
We can, and then we can always cancel it.
Well, we have to have it if we're not approving it
We have to,
tonight. Right?
I thought it was, okay.
Okay, so
Numbers, right? So you have,
here's what they want.
according to the law, you get to sign it and send it in. But then you have to like December, don't you, to be able to negotiate?
But they
the actual numbers?
they won't even sign it unless the language is how they want it.
Shannon,
Because you could sign it and say like, we're going to do it and then do negotiations until that point, but they won't. They want it in there before they'll sign it, like the language money in there before they sign it. So the board can't even see it yet.
Okay. So that's
It's just the number. Instead of just giving the money, here you go, we'll see it, here you go, no stress.
Yeah.
Tabled.
Yes.
Yes.
Tabling the next two things also.
What can we?
So we are tabling that one and
We have to table that too,
yes.
because the contract doesn't have numbers.
Those have, the contracts have dollar figures in them.
They have,
So they have to
yeah, money,
table.
so we have to do O and P will also be tabled.
So for those of you who, you're all looking at it, agenda, never mind, okay. N, O, and P. Tabled. But we may or may not be able to do those on Wednesday, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, by the end of tonight, we will go ahead and set up for Wednesday Zoom. Okay, consideration of approving a 25-26 calendar. Okay,
You're talking first.
yes,
No.
Yeah, I just need to,
Before we begin, other than Rob Grist, if you are a participant in the Zoom, I would ask that you raise your hand before you ask to speak. And then I'll unmute you just so that we don't have a bunch of people talking over each other. I'll make sure everyone gets their time to make their comments as needed.
everyone also, how many do we have? Several? Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody will be limited to 2 minutes. One time, so that we can keep the meeting moving along, please.
And we can't answer questions. You can only make a comment.
Just make your comments, yes. Okay. Who would like to be first? Raise their hand.
Anybody raise their
Cindy.
hand?
Cindy, okay.
Hold on, 1 second. Hold on, please. Hold on, Cindy. Okay. Go ahead, Cindy, if you can.
Oh, I didn't necessarily want to be first. I just didn't see how you were supposed to raise your hand.
Oh, there's a little button, that says raise your hand on your Zoom screen.
Yeah.
That's okay. Go ahead,
Little
Cindy.
virtual hand.
Okay, Cindy,
Well-
go.
I feel like the board and Julia know pretty much how I feel about this. And I was thinking today, one of the things I was wondering, and I know you guys can answer questions, but this is something that I was curious about. If the PTO of staff is going to be affected, since if they want to not have school on Monday so they can go to the doctor. In my mind, that means that they should be scheduling all of their routine visits on Mondays, since that's the day they want so they can go to their doctor. And so I would think they wouldn't need quite as much PTO because they won't need it to go to those visits. And I don't know how PTO is divided out in this district. I know how it was in the districts that I worked for. And there was definitely a difference in between personal and sick leave. I don't know if that's the case here. but like I said, the board and Julia know pretty much how I feel about this. And the other thing I would like to say is, I know that you guys have said like this is really rushed. We didn't have time to tell the public. However, very shortly after the "Would you support a 4-day school week" survey was sent out, I was told, "Oh, we're going to do Tuesday through Friday." So that means that there has been at least a month before this, that the public, the community could have been told, we are looking at possibly doing a Monday through Thursday, or a Tuesday through Friday, instead of waiting and not being very transparent. And that's one of the things that really bothers me, is the fact that I don't feel like this whole situation has been very transparent to the public. And the only reason I knew this stuff before other people in the public is because I asked.
Okay, thank you, Cindy. Who's our next person?
If anyone did not or was not able to find the hand raising thingy, if you want to unmute now and say your name.
Hi, my name's Rob. I was looking for my hand. I've spent the last 2 minutes trying to find it. I was listening, Cindy.
Okay, Rob, go.
I'll go ahead and go.
Okay.
I called both Trevor and Amy today, and I shared the numbers that we are seeing with them, and both of them had the same answer. They said they would go with the results from the community because that's who our constituents are, and that while there is the desire to please the staff, we have a duty to our constituents. I had written down, this isn't responding to Cindy, I had just written down the doctor thing. Trevor, I ran that by Trevor too, and he said, when people are sick, you're sick and you're going to go to the doctor. And as far as planning, you just use your personal days or your sick or whatever days you would normally have used in the past. We've found in our family that it all depends on the doctor when you can actually get in, because doctors these days schedule so far out, you just have to take what's there. And then as a district, we would cover it. I don't see much money savings there. What else did I write down here? It's important, I think, that we don't try to be different. As schools move towards this 4-day week, there's a staff aspect, there's a parent aspect, and there's a student aspect. And I don't want to be the odd one out when it comes to events that are planned as we move towards a 4-day week. We had an example last year, I think it was, one of our sub events was due to a Pink concert, which ended up getting canceled. I think that was on a Friday. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but most events that happen outside of our valley happen on a Friday or a Saturday night. So something to consider is, not a lot happens in Vegas on a Sunday night. So if you're wanting to take your family or your spouse to an event outside of the valley, travel on Thursday evening or Friday morning is the best option there. We also don't know what Glacier and Flathead are going to do, and the most likely choice is going to be the Friday off. So I would hate to choose Monday off and then have to change it later because our feeder school changed.
Rob, what do you mean Glacier or Flathead? How does that?
If they go to a 4-day week in the future.
Oh, gotcha. Thank you.
And
Rob, my question is, how do you know what happens in Vegas? Aren't you supposed to stay there? Supposed to stay.
Last time we went, it was a Muse concert, which was awesome, by the way. And then cooperation with other schools. You, Julia, and previous admin Sherry can probably answer this the most, but I'm expecting Kyla Smith Valley to do this in the future too. And would this change our cooperation with them as far as resource sharing? I don't know, but I think it's something to consider. What's really funny is I went to call Trevor on this a couple of weeks ago to get some advice, and it was Friday and he didn't answer. So it's almost like aligning. It's nice to have the same schedule because all the schools are open that day too. So I'll leave it at that. I've said enough.
All right, thank you, Rob.
One more thing. I added up the total number of votes for both, and if we add the staff and the community together, it's 69% for Fridays.
Okay, thank you.
I had my hand raised, but it's not working. I don't know.
Go ahead, Katie.
Go ahead, Katie.
So, as a staff member, I think a lot of us are like, hey, just make a decision. But I do want you to look at the bigger picture. We already do a different calendar schedule than the rest of Flathead. We come after Labor Day, right? And we kind of always have had a different schedule. So I don't really want to look at that. Like, we're not part of their school district. We're our own school district. But the big picture here was, yes, we want to draw more teachers in, but also we want to save money. And right now, if we switch days, we're going to be out a lot of money. And hopefully Shannon will explain more with changing from the food schedule, because they can only deliver on Fridays. And if we switch to a different company, it's going to be a lot of money. So yes, we could hire somebody to come in on Fridays, but it's already hard to get people to want to come to our school to do these things. So we just have to look at the bigger picture. Now, the reason a lot of the staff said, well, Monday would be best because we get doctor's appointments. To answer your question, Cindy, no, we do not have sick days. We have discretionary days that we have to use at our own discretion. Okay. So if I want to take my kids to the orthodontist right now, I have to pull them out of school, and they get dinged on attendance if they're in middle school. They get dinged on things for that. So it would be really nice both for the kids as well as for the staff, who wouldn't have to take off of their discretionary days to be able to just schedule out those days. Now, if you vote Fridays off, that's great too. We'll have to figure it out, but we're sitting here talking about budget. So I'm hoping that's the bigger picture, is that we look at that, because we've never been on the same calendar as anybody else. I mean, it's just not how it's ever worked. So I don't know why that's such a big deal, but there it is. So thank you for letting me talk, and good luck.
All right, thank you.
Dang, that was impressive.
Yes, she had a tough one too. Okay, who's next?
Anyone else like to speak online? Last chance, going once. Going twice.
Hold on, I can't like Rob. I can't find the raise your hand thing.
That's all right, go ahead.
This is Jess. We do line up with the high school as far as Christmas break and spring break. We try to line up with those things. So Katie's saying we don't line up. We do try to line up with those holidays. For split families, it's going to be difficult. And to be honest, for me, it's kind of like at the point of, we're going to be different for a couple years, and then it'll be into the high school and trying to function. Having the comment of a parent the other day talking to me about it, just said, you know what, we're going to pull our kids when we need to pull our kids. It doesn't matter as far as what is going on, because if we're going to take a vacation to Florida, we're going to pull them when we want to pull them. If we're going to go to the doctor, we're going to pull them when we need to pull them. So there's both sides of that, and hopefully we can think about too. I know things don't revolve solely around trying to work together with schools, and we just have to work with schedules, but we do have games that are scheduled on Mondays. We do have those type of things and activities that we might not be able, we'd have to reschedule or not even play. I know sports is not the biggest picture. Food is a little bit more important, but it's also something to consider. Trying to align and try to be like everybody else is important. So that's what I got.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Anyone else in here?
I would like to address the bigger picture of the community. Our staff works Monday through Friday at the moment. So I would assume that if there's childcare and there's logistics, they've already figured that out. It's the community that's going to have to change. The parents of the 30 kids or so that we have. will have to change their schedule and their childcare for that Friday. And they're the ones that I think are affected the most out of this. And so that's why I think it should be weighted on what the community prefers, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Seeing none online. Go ahead.
As far as moving the days to Monday for the benefit of the teachers, what days are they going to be typically taking those discretionary days off? After all, I mean, assuming that you're taking those discretionary days somewhere within that same calendar year, it's going to be a wash because you're still going to have to do or substitutes for whatever days they take those days. I understand that it's a lot more fun to have those be fun days as opposed to doctor's days. But if the net response is you're most of the time taking those Fridays off with your discretionary days, how much of a difference does that make? Now, it does give you a little bit more flexibility if you're able to get some of those on there. But and then as far as the food stuff, I thought about this a little bit. I don't know how much the staff is going to be affected financially by going down to 4 days. But if there's a possibility that some of them aren't going to want to continue because of this, having the option to be able to offset that a little bit by having them come in on those Fridays, if the Friday was chosen, might be enough to be able to keep them. How much of a difference would it be to try to pull somebody, we have enough people here in the area to be able to offset if some of those do choose to pursue other opportunities? And if we don't, how much would it be to bringing somebody in from Kalispell?
On that, I'm sorry, on the handout that has the calendar, the last documentation is from Terry in the kitchen about the cost difference. And the first page is a little blurb from her. She's not able to make it tonight, so. Should have pointed that out earlier, sorry.
So we would have to have somebody on call essentially the whole day.
Yes.
Because they don't have a delivery time until that morning. That could be any time.
Well, essentially, there also have to be somebody on call that has access to that because issues like she said in the past with theft of things out of our kitchen. So there's only a select few that have a key to that.
Most likely, we would have to have one of our kitchen staff, pretty much, because they know where everything goes. They know where to put the things and you know what has to go where.
And all three of them have children, so they go through, so they probably have to.
Yep, sure.
They won't deliver on any other day, period.
Okay, you can't even count on the time they'll be.
I know. that part.
No, they could deliver on Monday, but it's a lot more.
It's a different company,
Yes. Okay.
they just plain won't.
Everywhere Cisco delivers on Friday.
I tried, guys. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was trying to let them see share her.
Just read it out loud.
Oh, there you go. Okay, I'm gonna read it out loud for those for posterity. Okay. Kitchen concerns to be considered if Fridays were chosen for the off day. Cisco delivers on Fridays. We can switch to US Foods. They deliver on Monday. However, their prices are much higher than Cisco. The cost difference can range anywhere from $10 to $25 more per case. This is from Terry, I usually order anywhere from 25 to 35 cases per week. So this would cost us a minimum of $250 more per week. If we continue to use Cisco, we would need to have a staff member to be at the school on Fridays to receive the delivery and make sure all items get put in the appropriate storage area to avoid food spoilage and to make sure all items on the invoice were received. This would add some cost to cover wages for that time. We do not get specific time of delivery. Friday mornings, they send me an email that gives me a delivery window, usually an hour-and-a-half time period, and depending on the driver, this could be any time of the day. If we open this up for all staff to take a turn with Friday shift, it would require us to leave this dry storage, cooler, and freezer unlocked, We've had problems with theft in the past.
The kitchen staff hours being cut, like, so this would be inviting to them to come in on Friday.
They've all come to me and looked at what they make this year, what versus what they make next year, and none of them, they're okay with it. It is a little bit less, it's not astronomical. It's like $100 or less a month. And they'd rather have the day off, they said.
They want Mondays.
I don't know that.
Okay.
I don't know who voted for what. I would assume that they voted for Monday because they get to do it.
I can tell you they all voted, but that's as far, I promise that's as far as I would.
But given the
reveal my
concern that
votes.
was written out, it makes it.
Yeah, by the way, it was
Makes-
written in,
right,
but
right.
who's that? Yeah,
And this is written by Terry, so this is.
The head cook.
her.
Do you have anybody else with any input?
I would like to know, Julia, what your suggestion and recommendation is.
Well, to be honest, I didn't vote.
Neither did I, as a parent.
Yes, I did not vote. I did not vote because as a parent slash community member, Fridays are awesome. You know, my family lives far away and everything happens on Saturday. So I understand that viewpoint, a lot. So that makes it sound great. I worked in a 4-day school week. Fridays were fine. It was fine. But as a person looking at the budget, if you asked me to vote as a community member, I would vote Fridays. If you asked me to vote as a person who actually sees the budget and the impact, I would vote Monday. We're already tight and I'm worried that this could, you know, any dollar that goes another direction can make it harder to make that up. So I'm kind of on a split. I basically nullified my own vote, so I didn't vote.
Is this all because of food? Like, is that the only hang up here?
That seems to be the biggest
That's the
sort of
biggest.
annoyance.
Like, are there any stones that are unturned here? This is kind of silly in my opinion. Like one delivery truck is gonna dictate our schedule for the year.
I don't think it only comes down to food. I think it also has to do with trying to save money on subs and staff having the option to do things. I also, like what Katie said, I have a kid with orthodontia on right now. I can tell you, scheduling those appointments, if I had Monday off, because I have to verify, I think they close early on Fridays.
They're close on Fridays.
Having a Monday off would be phenomenal just for that reason, because I am like literally, you have an appointment, you have to run to the car today because I'm missing a ton of school for that. So it's for,
But that's all gonna come down to which doctor, which orthodontist you use, which doctors you use, because they all have different schedules. I mean, some of them are Friday off, some of them are Monday off. They're kind of doing the same things that we are these days.
right.
And as most schools, like especially in the pediatric and we'll say orthodontia world, like as most schools go through the Monday through Thursday option, it's, you know, they'll probably adjust their own schedule around that. But I don't know.
4-day weeks, for most schools, they do take Fridays. And for 21 years, the day that most teachers require a sub is Fridays, because they want to have a long weekend and they go on a trip. Mondays have a lot of holidays, so they like to take the Friday, and you've got a Monday holiday, so you've got a 4-day week. That's what I've seen. Also, we have scheduling of athletic events on Mondays. How is that going to affect that? Do we just lose games in each season because we can't have games? I mean, I think officials on Fridays, if you have stuff to Fridays, I don't know if people want to stay Fridays. I don't know if we can get officials on Fridays with the high school sports and stuff. So having it on no school on Monday would affect the athletics schedule, which is, I know, not the biggest issue, but
It'll affect
if I know
turnout
I
for
have-
Monday. Yeah.
if I know I have Fridays off for the entire year, and I'm scheduling things, then I'm going to try and schedule things on Fridays as far out. I mean, whatever day you have, Monday or Friday, you know, it's the whole year. So
I can't speak necessarily to the specific schedule since we haven't done this before, but Cascade is in its 8th or 9th year of 4-day, and it doesn't there, different place. It most schools out there, a lot of them are 4-day. They still hold games on the day, or if coach can choose to still hold practice if they want to. If the parents are like, yeah, let's still do it. Normally they ask the parents, would you still be willing to bring your kid in for practice if we held it a little later? And a lot of parents will say yes. As far as games, they'll still hold them that day. They're in the evening. They do it like 5 o'clock because it's a later day. And they didn't have school that day, so they don't have to start right at 4 because the kids are coming in anyway. So in Cascade, they have a game regardless of the 4-day week. They'll have it on that day off.
I thought they had to be in school in order to have a game.
No, because then you won't be able to have Saturday games.
No, because they go by Friday. If you were attendance Friday.
Montana might be different, but I know that a lot of the 4-days still have games on them. Yeah, it might just be MHSA is a little different, or maybe they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, but they are doing it.
But that's a fair point though, because I hadn't really thought about athletics in particular, but, and I see what you're saying, Julia, but we don't have most of our schools that we play games with on a 4-day schedule.
Yeah.
So chances are we will have to be somewhere for a game if it's scheduled not by us, right? Like for sometimes, like we could try to schedule mostly Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays or whatever, but we probably will have to start games at 4 o'clock, like we have always, right? At most of our schools on a Monday.
And well,
Right.
whatever day, you know, if we have a
Whatever day.
Friday game or
We don't typically do Friday
tournaments or
games,
whatever.
right? Except tournaments.
except for tournaments.
Those are kind of the exceptions. And then this is really not Monday versus Friday, but just kind of looking at the calendar in general. I have a question about the final PIR day. Is that a half day or full day?
Which
The whatever after the last day of school on either. Just looking at PIR hours, I think it were either long or were short, right? Of the 7. That's what I'm. So on the Friday.
I'm not sure why it says Saturday.
Friday off, it would be the 10th, June 10th. I think these aren't in color, so it's a little tricky, but no school PIR, Friday the 10th. Friday's off.
Have the originals here that are in.
Oh, yeah.
Monday would be the Friday the
13th.
I believe that was supposed to be a half day.
And you're missing.
And you're missing a couple hours of PIR, I think. If you're just doing 2-hour increments, PIR day is considered 6 hours. So we need 3 2-hour increments to make 1 day, if that makes sense. Right? So that's just either calendar, we might have to adjust that.
Yeah.
It's usually
2
your day.
days.
Half-day records day.
Yeah.
Depends on who. I think
Right.
it's scheduled.
I just need to get to make sure we have our 7 PIRs scheduled.
I think it was scheduled on Wednesday.
Yeah.
It depends on you. That you go.
Oh. Yeah, so we're missing 1 day, so that must be a full day then. Or,
But it's on a Saturday too, though. That's
yeah, that's supposed to be the Monday, I'm assuming. Yeah, so that, you're right, with the Friday calendar, it would have to be a full day on the 10th unless we split it somehow with other 2-hour meetings or something of such. But you're right,
Okay.
we'd be a day short if that wasn't a full day, or,
Okay.
yeah, you know.
Okay.
So that would have to be,
And then I thought we had talked about if we were to do Fridays on the weeks that we had a holiday on a Monday, we would still have school on the Friday.
we talked about that in calendar committee, and the calendar committee ixnayed that because they thought it'd be more confusing for parents to have to remember which Friday and this
Okay.
one after. We thought parents would benefit from a more solid schedule, at least the first year.
So just some 3-day weeks and
Yeah.
seem a little wonky to me, but that's
And
just my opinion.
Trevor from Olney Bissell also did not recommend doing that they've done that in the past and it didn't work out. So that was a big
Oh, Katie, I heard
thing
it
for
the
us.
other way around. Thank you. I thought he
Yeah.
was saying they did shift it the holidays
And
to Fridays.
He said
the
a
having
lot of times that they had shifted
Yeah.
it, but a lot of times the kids just didn't show up because normally they had those Fridays off,
Okay.
which was another, yeah, so.
Okay, I guess I
That-
missed that part. Thank you.
That's one of the questions I had written down is, did the calendar committee consider Bissell's or Cayuse's schedule when we
Yes.
made ours? Okay, good.
Bob, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
You had said if it's coming down to as a delivery on Friday, that should be a pretty simple answer. So what is your answer then? If that's pretty simple, because it's not simple to me. So and again, I'm coming from somebody who tries to get people to pop popcorn on Friday and have such a hard time getting people to do that. So I'm just wondering,
How would you solve that?
yeah, what's your solution to that?
I was going to ask, so what's the cost of bringing somebody in? What did we decide what the time would be?
There is no time. They would literally have to be on call for the entire day and Terry would somehow have to be involved if she wasn't the one coming in, because she's the one that gets the email with the time window. So somebody would technically have to be on call for the entire day.
And
Yeah,
it would
I would probably spend the money until we can find a cheaper solution to go with what the community wants.
And so how
The-
long would it typically take, do you think? How long does it take when they receive a delivery to receive it, put it away, inventory it? Did she say?
She said,
Hour and a half.
Okay. If it was
Yeah.
somebody who wasn't trained, it may.
you mean to put it away? Sorry, I'm looking at the time window is usually an hour and a half.
So we maybe would be paying somebody for, say, 2 hours, including like a little cushion, right? To get here, receive it, put it away,
Julia's
inventory,
Heather says she's trying to get in.
lock up, you know, what I'm saying.
Somebody that wants to.
She's not on
It
yet.
would probably have to
Should
be
loading.
in this food or care, right? Because
We still can't raise our hands. Are we still allowed to talk if we're in the community?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead. 2
Okay.
minutes.
Because the comment was to spend the money right now, but I'm sorry. I just sat in a meeting, meetings about how we may have to cut down on athletics and do everything humanly possible to keep that stuff for these kids. But we're going to just spend money when we don't have to because other schools have Fridays off. I'm not getting the logic. The community voted, but they didn't know about this, except for a select few on Facebook. So I'm just like, I'm very confused, I guess. I thought the idea here was we were going to try and save money.
So I'm gonna take my 2 minutes now.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So, I also appreciate that the community.
You have more than 2 minutes as a board.
Yeah.
You can speak the whole.
Usually Lily likes me to keep it short anyway, but, for me, the community input has a lot of weight for those that voted. But I also am very aware of the fact that we had, 49 community members that voted?
Like you said, 39.
Or parents that voted. We have way more than 49 parents that will be affected by this. So it holds weight for me. But when you think about it, a lot of the teachers that work here are also community members. So I'm struggling with that. And for me, just again, because I was in that meeting with Katie, I've been here since 2:30 today and actually was here an hour earlier too. The budget is a huge concern, so I have a hard time paying that money. That's a minimum of $1,000 a month, minimum extra. And we're talking about charging the kids $20 to play a sport because we don't have enough money. So I'm grappling with that. Yeah.
Shannon, if we did pay, let's say it wasn't a already hired human, if we paid someone to come in and just do the food thing, would it be an additional with like the other charges when you hire a new person, like all the extra stuff you have to
Background check. Well, they want to do.
Because I work with kids,
No.
but like the work comp and like all of those
Yeah,
things.
yeah, you
all of
still have to
those
pay
would be
work
extra.
comp and all that stuff, yes.
Okay, just curious.
Right, right.
when nobody else is here.
Are you sure?
Story it out.
Show up to find all the food still sitting outside, all the copper in the building gone.
Right.
Ouch.
I'm looking at the rest of the agenda that we still have to approve. And I personally have marked 8 or 9 more things that we can't decide on because it's a money thing. So I don't see how it's possible to just pay it.
I mean, how many food companies are there that deliver to schools?
2.
For our area, anyway,
Yeah.
yes, two.
And is that who delivers to Flathead and Glacier as well? So for them to do Fridays off, they would also have to pay more. The staff, somebody to get all their food. And I'm going to assume it takes Flathead longer to receive and store the food than it takes us.
Yeah, they have a central kitchen that they work from, for a lot of their meals.
And they drive their
created
meals to the
central
other schools.
Yeah.
Which is
So it'd be the
crazy.
central kitchen staff would have to do it, but yeah.
They don't have our delicious meals
Right.
that our chefs make.
Right.
Just saying. We're very unlucky.
Okay. So how do we do it if there's a Monday on the agenda and a Friday on the agenda?
Yep.
How do we do that?
I make a motion.
And you just either
Just
lie, pay, for whichever one you do or don't want.
you would make a motion of Monday off and we would get the second and vote, or make the motion for Friday off. Make it. You vote on both of them?
Make a motion for Monday and then vote. And make a motion for Friday and those other people vote. Would not be.
Unless yes, Rob?
Before we do, Shannon, how did you calculate the money on the food, the 1,000 to 250 a month? Was it per week?
Terry did all of that research herself. She compared the two, the common items she buys. And she compared it on their websites, what she has to pay for it, one company versus the other.
And that's not including paying someone to receive it, right?
Nope.
Just
No.
that
That's just the
250
food.
per week.
So if we went to US Foods, which costs more, they would be there to receive it because it's
Oh,
on
gotcha.
Monday and
Yeah,
we're
okay.
here.
I'm with you.
It was looking at $10 more per case with a minimum of 25 cases per week, which makes the 250. So it could be more than that, but they're saying it's at least the 250.
Mhm.
Right,
Yeah.
at least the 250 a week.
So she said some items were more of a difference, other ones were less. She just tried to pick like the 5 most common items she orders a lot of, just because she figured that'd be the easiest way to compare.
What's the logic behind our current vendor only delivering on Friday? Have you asked them that?
That's when they
Every
deliver the
school
whole-
district that I've worked with before Cisco has only delivered on
Yeah.
Friday.
That's just what they do. And even during COVID, still got money, we got food for the COVID food program. I can't remember exactly what it was, but they still delivered on Fridays. And when nobody was here, Peter would drive down because we had certain pickup days for stuff.
With the big boxes, the
Commodities,
pallet
okay.
drop.
That was from
No,
Food Bank.
that was-
Oh, that was from Food
Yeah.
Bank.
But I know that during COVID, Peter had to drive down here and receive food because they wouldn't come on the days that we were. Didn't we have some special pickup? That was a long time ago. I just know that Peter did come in and do it.
It was 5 years ago.
I know, that was a long time ago.
Insane.
Yeah. And what it would cost for a person to come and do it depends on the person, because everybody makes a different wage.
Did anybody else, did Heather come in or no?
I haven't seen any new arrivals.
She just said she's.
Yes.
Quick question on the on-call. Is it an on-call charge different than their hourly wage, or is it?
It would just make it less desirable
For somebody to
for
want to
someone,
do
because
it.
they'd have to stay on that.
So they're not getting charged, it's okay.
They just have
even
to
if-
make themselves available.
Even if they were
anytime
kind
that day.
enough to not charge an on-call amount, which most people with logic would. Because they're, they couldn't go out to see family or go to Kalispell to go grocery shopping.
Right.
Most people would charge an on-call, but if they were kind enough not to, it would make it hard to find someone that would want to do it.
Because
At any
basically
hour of the
every
day.
Friday, they wouldn't know what time they're working.
Their shift is.
Yeah, so they couldn't make an appointment or nothing else because they're hanging out waiting for the truck.
Do we have, okay, here's the fly in the ointment kind of question. Do we have to receive food weekly or could that be changed to?
I don't think we have enough
Bi-weekly.
storage for
It
anymore.
has to be
Okay.
weekly. We don't have
Okay.
enough storage. We
Okay.
barely have enough storage for a week.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay,
We tried to apply for a grant for a bigger freezer.
gotcha.
That's a bigger freezer than we used to have. By double, I think.
I feel super torn right now. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't
Wait.
know which way is best, given all of this. I'm really
Yes.
confused.
If I could just clarify, the community would prefer to have Friday.
Those who voted, yes. Mhm.
And 49 people voted. And the community voting was vetted. So they went through and made sure there wasn't multiple votings or a staff member didn't vote. We wanted to make sure it was, if they were represented on the staff vote, they were not represented on the community vote unless they were board, because the board has a duty to be a community member. And then their vote here is a representation of their constituency, so we counted their vote as a community vote. Does that make sense? But they are the ones that remained.
Do you remember what those percentages were?
Yes.
Sorry, I know it was in your report, but.
And Heather has logged on. Hello, Heather.
She was trying to.
Hello.
Okay, let's see.
Communities.
So, for the community vote, 65.3% voted for Fridays off. And 34.7 voted for Mondays off. For the staff vote, 68.2% voted for Mondays off, excuse me.
Say that again, 60.
68.2. And
Yeah.
31.8% voted for Fridays off.
So can I say something?
For everything
She
she
already
does?
used her 2.
She's already used up her 2 minutes, yeah.
Do you want to allow her more? Or?
Can you make it really quick, Cindy?
Yep, I will be super fast. So you also need to remember that the majority of community members think of a 4-day week as Monday through Thursday. And when Julia did the little questionnaire at the bottom of the Panther Print last 2 Fridays ago, the majority of people said they would prefer Fridays off.
Yes, there were
It may or
60.
may not have been the same people that voted in this other survey she sent out, but I'm just reminding you guys of that fact.
All right, thank you,
Have other
Cindy.
data points.
Let me get those numbers from the fingerprint too, just because she brought it up, just so you have that information. Give me 1 second.
And Rob was saying that adding them together.
So, sorry, okay, for the Panther Print, 28% or 11 people voted for Mondays. And for Fridays, 29 people or 73% voted. Thank you.
Can you,
Fridays.
Jeff, will you tell me those numbers?
29 voted for Fridays, 11 voted for Mondays.
Oh, I'm sorry, the other ones. I thought you were showing her the community.
That is,
Yeah, that's what was off of the.
that's the
The Panther
Panther
Print.
Print.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, I meant off of our pie chart.
Oh, yes, okay. I had so many times open.
I've got it in front of me now.
Oh, thank you.
So out of 22 responses for staff, so how many people does the 31% equate to?
So that's where Rob had done some crunching of numbers.
31.8 out of 22 people.
Okay.
It's about 7 people.
Okay.
Yeah, I came up with 7 and 32.
What?
What? 7 and
Sorry. 7 yes on the 7 Friday on the staff and 32 Friday on the community.
Fridays,
Oh, okay.
Fridays off,
Say that
8
again.
for staff, 8 people Fridays off, 15 people's Mondays off. I just made a lot of letters, words plural that does not need to be, sorry.
And then the community was 32 for Fridays.
And community, I think.
So if you considered them each an equal vote in terms of community and staff, we're kind of at a watch.
Yeah.
Right?
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
You wanna
If we
recess,
wanted
go
to
back
weight
and
them
think?
equally, is what I'm
Huh?
saying.
Do you want to recess, go to the bathroom and think for a minute?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I don't know about anybody else. All right.
So I do, and again, thank you for the community that's here. It's here.
Yes.
And they voted on the Panther print and the community one as well.
And
I
thank you
also,
to
you guys that are
staff.
here just saw that we had to take an oath. And that oath is basically to spend your money wisely. So, yeah, I'm ready to vote.
You want to make a motion?
Yeah. I will make a motion to approve Monday off for the 25-26 calendar year.
And I will second that. Okay, do we have any more discussion before we vote?
If most schools go, who do most schools use as a vendor? Is
I
it
have no way to
Cisco
know that.
or US?
I don't know.
I don't have any way to know that.
Most likely.
What will happen to Cisco when schools?
Huh?
What will happen to Cisco when most schools go to the payoff?
It
I'm
depends, I
sorry.
guess, on if they
Terrible
adjust.
connection here in
if-
California.
I-
What will
I guess
happen
if-
when most schools?
I don't know how we would be able to answer that, Rob.
Yeah,
honestly.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Because
guess
you're
it's
saying if they eventually do Friday off,
Mhm.
that Cisco is gonna have to adjust for all of us, is what you're saying.
Or they'll just pay somebody to be there. Or
It would make
don't.
sense from a business standpoint.
Maybe they have more money
Right.
than we do. You know,
The
tell us
Cisco also
about it.
delivers to all the restaurants in town.
We
So,
have a
I don't know.
Marion Claudia.
That is Lisa.
Oh, hey, okay, Miss Lisa, let me just speak.
Okay,
All right, go ahead, Miss Lisa. You can unmute yourself.
you got it?
She's thinking.
Can't do
Sorry. And for God's sakes, I have to have my husband change that. So Rob, your thing with Cisco, I mean, until like any business thing, until you're pushed to do it, you're not going to change. They're not going to change for us. Way back in the day when I was in the kitchen, we had this same problem with deliveries. And until more schools, and it has to be the rules because School District 5 gets all their delivery to one place, until everybody is demanding them to change, they're not going to. So I think kind of holding that in our head is a little bit useless right now. They're not going to change.
Thank you.
Yeah. And that I don't know if I still have 2 minutes, but
Yes.
could this possibly, I mean, I hate to do it to the kitchen thing, but we all have parts of our jobs that we don't love. Is it part of their job that they have to do a Friday once a month or something like that? Again, like Katie said, we're looking at saving money. And if we have to switch companies, it's going to be a huge blow to the budget. That's it.
Fair point.
Thank you.
That's a fair point.
And looking at it, the amount that we did kind of nickel and dime to approve the new volleyball equipment, we're talking more than double that being spent on food extra.
At minimum, double that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just really
Right?
hard to justify that.
It's, that's
If
just,
if you're doing the 250 a week, then yes. if you're doing it by the average staff, the problem comes down to delivery consistency. And can they call us and nail down a 3-hour time frame where we spend $20 an hour on an employee to be
Uh-oh,
You guys
we're
know the
losing
answer.
you, Rob.
Sorry, Rob, you're cutting out.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you heard. Let me turn off my video here and see if that helps.
So we heard you saying, could we negotiate? Could we ask them to nail down a 3-hour window and we pay somebody for those 3 hours?
Right. We're taking the worst case scenario, or it could be worse, I guess. Like the gentleman said, I don't know who it is because I can't see the camera, but the $250 or more from the other vendor. But if we look at staying with the vendor that we're with, and we can get some kind of consistency out of them where we can plan, now you're spending whatever the average classified makes, for say 3 hours, and that's a lot different than that $250 mark.
Again, if you can find somebody who's willing to do it, or like Lisa said, maybe we just make that part of their job requirement, and then do they stay with us, right? Because that's, yeah. So there's a lot of ifs in there, and like, yeah, it would be great if they would nail that down for us, but they haven't
And
really do that yet, right?
Yeah, and I do know that the deliveries are never consistent, especially in the winter.
Okay.
Like you have a big gap from gonna be here to 10 and then he arrives at 5 p.m.
Oh,
So,
wow. Okay.
so there's a big gap on the time, especially in the winter time. You don't know if there's a storm and he gets stuck and then you're sitting around waiting for the truck. I know we've done that a few times where we think he's coming and then little do we know Terry has to leave because she gets off at 2 and we're waiting around and the truck didn't get here until 5 or 6 o'clock. So it's never really consistent. And I know Terry and Sandy also said that we have a tendency we don't always have the same driver. So like right now we have this one driver and then in, 6 months we can have a completely different one that could be slower than molasses or really fast. So
the only thing I do like about food coming on a day when there's not students here would be the congestion issues that happen when we're doing deliveries. It's always a little crazy when that happens during the school day. That's the only positive I see, really, for having a different, having delivered when people aren't here through the first doors. Yeah, right. Yeah. So, and Rob, I think that was Christian speaking when you were, when you were saying you didn't know.
Oh, sorry, you're way back there.
Okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Ready to vote? All those in favor of Mondays off? Aye. Aye. Anybody opposed?
Nay.
Okay, now do we have to do one for the other date too, or?
No, because she did that.
We've got it, okay.
I think you have to, do we?
No, we've got four yays and one nays.
I say yay for Monday off.
Okay, Monday it is. Thank you, everybody, for your input. Everybody.
Tough decision.
It is a tough decision. But like Kemi said, we're the keepers of the checkbook, so.
Right. And if we find out it really doesn't save us money and everybody can't live with that schedule, we do it for a year, we can switch it up for the following year.
Yes, we
You
can.
know,
Actually, a bunch of us decided to do that, so it's
Right.
good to say, it's really profitable for us, we're losing customers like crazy.
they might like,
They
they're like,
might-
oh, Marion's got the right idea,
They
let's
might
all
be
do
able
that.
to- Some of their days.
Yep.
Okay, moving on, consideration of rehiring classified staff for 25-26 school year.
We need to do them each separately, correct? I move to hire S. Scuderi.
Second.
You want to do the same one all the way around?
Hold on, sorry. do my motions.
Okay, let's wait till Shannon's got her,
I just gotta get my form in here.
your form, yeah.
So I can copy and paste.
I'll do them all the way down till Tess.
Okay,
I'll second.
just gonna copy the whole, if we do one. Okay, Sherry. And then Rob. Okay,
Okay. S. Scuderi, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? S. Jones,
I'll move to approve the hire of S. Jones.
Second.
Seconded.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed?
Okay, I'll move to approve R. Lindstead.
Rob said he was
second.
second all the way down.
Mhm.
All those in favor of our Lansted?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? A. Jones,
I'll move to approve A. Jones.
Aye. Or second.
Aye, second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anybody opposed? T. DeLauder,
I approve, or move to approve T. DeLauder.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? T. Seymour,
Move to hire T. Seymour, rehire.
Second. Man, I'm the worst at this job.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed?
Move to approve S. England.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed?
I move to approve H. Elmore.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed?
So Sharon, this is where I personally feel like we need to table the next couple, because it's all sports related. These are all coaching positions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
2, 3, 4,
7
5,
coaching
6,
and 1 athletic director position.
7.
We don't know what money will look like for sports, correct? Is that the reasoning? Yeah.
So I don't feel like we can consider rehiring somebody if there's no money to pay them.
Right. So we're gonna table
all the way down to Paula.
9 through
Yep.
15.
Brad through Paula needs to be tabled.
Just to make sure.
We're gonna jump down to,
Yeah.
Oh, down to Paula, yeah.
I would, well, is that, that's
No, she's
athletics.
athletic director.
She's
Yeah.
athletic director. That's athletics.
Yep.
Never mind, we're going through 16
We're
tabling.
gonna go to 17.
We're going all the way to
Oh.
Mary Webster.
Going all the way down to
Because those
Webster.
are all coaching positions.
Yeah.
Have stipends, so.
Webster is a coaching position?
No, I'm sorry.
We're going to skip 2.
Oh,
Mary,
I'm
'cause
with ya.
everything
I'm with ya.
between-
Okay, I move to approve rehiring G. Webster.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And C. Sharati.
I move to approve hiring C. Sharati.
Second.
all those in favor?
Okay.
Aye. Anyone opposed?
Oh, aye.
Okay, that's all right, we got you. Okay.
We have to add an item, additional item. Consideration to approve approving Flathead County to run our elections for the 25-26 school year.
Yes, please. I move to
Yeah, we
approve the county running our elections for the 25-26 school year.
Second.
Christian.
That's a second.
And I thank you for that.
Is there any discussion on this? Anybody have any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Real
Anyone
clear.
opposed? Okay,
Been fighting for years.
okay, future agenda items are all items tabled.
What's that?
That your funny is Wednesday.
Hopefully.
I don't think I ever remember us having to table items because of budget
It's a scary time.
in my 20+ years. It's just nuts.
God, I was just holding you out for this one. Making you so you experienced it.
Okay. Any information? Before we adjourn, we will set our next meeting. It could be a Zoom. Wednesday. What time?
As far from 6:30 as you can
Okay.
Away from?
Yes. before
Oh, okay.
6:30. We've got Wednesday night service at 6:30. So
Okay, okay.
I can't exactly miss that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really short one.
We're not doing all the things we tabled.
No, we're just doing
Wednesday.
this.
We're just doing the first.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Just doing the stuff.
And then we can do the rest of them at our June meeting, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
hopefully.
so that is.
So I'll have my grandson that day, but I can Zoom with him. If you don't mind some toddler noises in the background.
Okay,
Yeah.
so.
Pick a time. Yes, literally, yes. Uh-huh.
But you're gonna see on.
What time are we doing?
What time?
You pick a time that works best.
How long you
It's gonna be, it should be really quick. How much time do you need to make sure that you're okay with your meeting?
As long as we're done by 6:30, I'm good.
Okay.
Maybe like 5:30, just.
5:36?
5:36, any one of those.
Rob, you have any input?
I'll be in Honolulu, so not too early, Christian.
Ma'am.
How does 6 look? I might be on.
No, whatever you guys said, I'll set an alarm.
It's fine.
6 o'clock? Okay, how about 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock Wednesday. I might even be home by then. Maybe.
Huh?
Yeah.
Might be found.
They wouldn't,
So Wednesday.
they wouldn't care if I did.
May 14th.
Mm-hmm.
May 14th at 6 o'clock.
And that'll just be Zoom.
Make sure you notice that.
I'm gonna go do it right now.
Okay, Wednesday, 6 PM.
Special meeting.
Okay,
Yeah.
is that it?
Mhm.
Okay,
If it does happen.
okay, Rob.
I move to adjourn.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Thank you, everyone.